If you are a digital product seller or an educational creator and you're struggling to get sales and struggling to get conversions, and stick it to the end of this video because I'm going to talk about the 4 mistakes that I made that literally cost me thousands of dollars and thousands of hours because of these 4 mistakes. So this is not going to be a super flashy edited video, so if you're a dopamine junkie, you can just click off this video. But if you actually want to scale your digital product business and make 6K per month or more, then bring out your pen and paper and let's get started. Mistake number 1, not hyping up your product enough before launch. So one of the mistakes that I made personally in my journey, especially when I started, was not taking time to properly market and hype up my product enough before launch. And this was a huge issue because I would launch products and I would launch different ideas and concepts, but then barely get any sales because I just wasn't hyping it enough. I'll make a few stories here and there, I maybe send a few emails here and there, but it wasn't enough or organized enough for me to actually guarantee myself 20, 30, 60 sales by launch. And this was a huge problem because personally in my life, when it comes to my feelings and my mindset, it made me feel like a loser because I spent all these weeks and months working on a product, but then I wasn't making much sales, right? I'll maybe make a few sales here and there, but it wasn't nothing life-changing like 6K per month or 10K per month and more because I wasn't hyping it up enough. You want to at least minimum for 2 weeks hype up your product excessively. I'm talking about every single day through your stories, in your broadcast channel, in your newsletter, and even through your reels. You want to hype up your product as much as possible. You basically want to sell it as if it's already out before launch. And this is extremely important because you can guarantee yourself that not only your audience actually wants the product, but also number 2, you guarantee yourself at least 40 to 60% sales by launch. Because if not, you just went through the same mistake and you have the same feeling that I did of feeling like a loser because you spend so much time working on a product that nobody wants or that nobody bought. An example of you hyping up your product before launch can be behind the scenes, saying why you launched your product, explaining how they are going to get, how your audience is going to get an outcome or a transformation once it launches. You want to talk about things along those lines because if people don't have a reason to buy by launch, then they won't buy the product. So you want to make it your job and your utmost priority for at least 2 weeks minimum to excessively promote your product before it even launches. Use FOMO, use limited offers, use discounts, and use a waitlist as well. Which brings me to my next point, or at least my next subtopic of this point. You want to create a waitlist before launch, and you see this in top companies all over the world. Before something launches, they always make sure and they always guarantee themselves a few sales before launch because they have a waitlist. So whenever you're doing story sequences about your product, whenever you're going to talk about it in the DMs, when you're reels, for example, you want to make sure that your call to action is for people to sign up to a waitlist, like that they can get a discount, for example, once it launches. And this is extremely important because number 1, you're going to make sure that there's an actual demand for your product, but also you can guarantee yourself a few sales before launch. You can get yourself at least 1K launch, a 3K launch, a 10K launch or more because you have a group of people that already want it. Now, I'm not saying that you having a waitlist is going to guarantee that every single person in that list buys. Obviously not. But at least hyping it up and talking about the amount of sales that you've gotten so far and how people are already getting results with it is what you want to do to make people that haven't bought yet build up that desire that they actually buy the product. Mistake number 2, selling a product that nobody wants. This is a huge mistake that I see a lot of people make, that I also made as well, because you work for months and weeks on launching this product, but then once you launch it, you don't get any sales. Why? Because your audience doesn't want it. Who told you that your audience wanted a PDF guide on how to lose weight? What confirmation that you get? Did you get any DMs? Did you get any answers on posts? Did you get any Q&A answers? No, you did not. So why are you selling that product, right? This is a mistake that I actually made as well, because when I first started this journey, right, I started off as an affiliate, right? So I was selling somebody else's product and I made some sales. And then unfortunately, the affiliate program shut down. And I was like, you know what? I built up some skills. I got some numbers. Let me teach that to other people as well. I started selling my product, a full course on affiliate marketing. And that went okay. I made a few sales here and there, got some numbers. That was great. But I could have guaranteed myself way more sales if I actually asked my audience what they wanted. And I realized this because one day I made a poll on my Instagram story asking people, hey, do you want to learn affiliate marketing or do you want to learn digital marketing? And I got like 70% answers on the poll was digital marketing. People in my audience actually wanted to know how to sell their own products and not sell somebody else's. And I immediately pivoted and made an entire product for that because I realized I was missing out on so much money. I was selling a product and making a product that my audience didn't actually want. So before you launch, make it a priority that you spend some time in the DMs interacting with your audience, or you are doing Q&As and polls to really understand the pains and problems that your audience has, and if they want a solution, and what type of solution do they want. Do they want it in a coaching version? Do they want it in a PDF? Do they want it as a Notion template? Whatever it is, you want to make sure that your audience actually wants it. So spend some time in the DMs, spend some time in your stories by actually interacting with your audience so you can guarantee yourself some sales before launch because you know your audience actually wants it. So just like Montel says, give Susie what Susie wants. Mistake number 3, having a ton of softwares and apps to organize your entire business. What I mean about this, right, is that when I first started my journey, I was trying to be as cheap as possible. Obviously, I didn't have much money, so I didn't want to spend it on a bunch of softwares and a bunch of tools that I know I wasn't gonna need, or that I could at least try to get the best out of each platform for free. And that was a huge mistake because I had a huge mess and a huge disorganization when it comes to my audience. On one platform like Gomer, for example, I'll have my whole audience that came from a free guide. And then on kit.com, I would have my audience that actually came through booked calls. And then on another platform like System.io, I would have like a bunch of leads that came in from another product. And then it was just like a huge mess for me from an organization standpoint because I had no level of organization, and it actually got overwhelming. The fact that I didn't have everything centralized in one single software or in one single platform. So if you're watching this video and you made the same mistake that I made of having a bunch of platforms for different reasons because you're trying to be cheap, don't be cheap. You are an entrepreneur, you are a business owner, and business owners and entrepreneurs invest in their business and they're not afraid of doing it. Once I accepted that, I centralized everything into one platform and made a ton more money because everything was less overwhelming and way more simplified. And if you notice that the software that you chose literally has a starter plan for what you want, then just purchase it, just get it, so you can at least guarantee yourself that you won't be overwhelmed within a few months because you have a bunch of mixed audiences like I have. So don't make that mistake. And if you're a beginner watching this, please, whatever platform you choose to host your digital products, for your newsletter and things of that nature, make sure that you stick to that until forever, because if not, you have a huge issue when it comes to exporting and importing contacts and building up your newsletter, and it's gonna be a huge mess. So do not make that mistake. If you're gonna lock in on WAP, lock in on WAP. If you're gonna lock in on ConvertKit, lock in on ConvertKit. And whatever platform you choose, make sure that it's aligned with your strategy and what you want as an objective. Let's say, for example, that you are going to be selling a lot in your emails. You want to make sure that your deliverability is 10 out of 10. And the best platform for that, from my experience, is going to be ConvertKit. But if you're mostly optimizing for simplicity and sales, then Gumroad or System.io might be better. If you want something a bit more aesthetic and things that is a bit more modern, then WAP might be a good option for you. You need to know what is it that you want from each platform and lock in on that and try to stick to it as much as possible. And if you have to pay for the starter plan or pro plan, then do it. And I'm saying this because not only did I live it, but I also had a client that literally came to me begging for help because she had a ton of softwares and a bunch of platforms and she didn't know how to manage everything, and she really wanted everything to be in one place. And it literally cost her more money having all those softwares and platforms than having everything in one place that can guarantee her more sales over time thanks to the proper optimization. Mistake number 4, not investing in ads. Now, I know that this is a touchy subject for a lot of content creators / educational creators online, because we've gotten so used to the idea of, making a ton of money organically, right? Of keeping 90 to 100% profit in all of our launches and all of our products, that spending any money on employees or on ads doesn't feel right because you're not making as much money. But you need to understand that for you to reach the next level, when you look at the top guys in the industry, when you look at top companies, they spend a huge amount of money on ads. If you were to go to an investor and you were to present your business, they're probably not going to buy or not going to invest in your business because you're not doing ads. Everybody knows that organic is not sustainable on the long term. But you know what is? Ads. If you really want to scale your business and you really want to take it to the next level, do not be afraid of investing in ads. And my ad strategy is extremely simple. I do not like to complicate things. I ain't gonna lie, the lighting is cooking me right now, fam. God damn. So my ad strategy is extremely simple. What you want to do is you want to leave your creatives, aka the actual ads, so what people are seeing on their phones or devices, you want to leave that do most of the targeting for you. Most people, when they get into ads, they want to make it super complex by adding a bunch of ad sets and a bunch of interest and audience configurations and stuff, and it just make it extremely unnecessarily long and extremely hard for Meta to actually do its job. So what do I mean by this? My ad strategy is extremely simple, and trust me, you do not need to overcomplicate it. The first thing that you want to do is understand that the Meta algorithm is extremely complex and it has been trained for years on data and thousands and millions of dollars so it can give you the best result. What does that mean? That you do not need to make your ad sets and campaigns super complex and add a ton of audience configurations and settings and a bunch of interest, because Meta knows best. So what does that mean? All you need to do is make your creative so the actual ad, what people see on their devices, do the targeting for you. Let's take the example of mental health, for example. I was selling a product once on mental health / emotional numbness in men. In my ad set, in the interest section, instead of adding a bunch of depression, anxiety, mental health, this and that when it comes to mental health, all I did was add mental health as like a broad interest, and then I would leave my actual creative do the targeting for me. So inside the ad, I would mention problems, pains, consequences, and symptoms of emotional numbness in men specific. And the Meta algorithm will do its job naturally because it knows best. All you need to do is give the algorithm, aka Meta, a foundation. All you need to do is give it a nice base so it can then do its job way better through the creative. And especially with a ton of updates that Meta has been dropping lately, you don't need to overcomplicate things. Let your creative do the job for you. And if you don't want to start from scratch, so creating the ads yourself and coming up with the messaging and everything by yourself, you can either use AI to assist you throughout this entire process, or you can literally just go on Facebook ads library, look at other creators in your niche, look at their ads that has been running for more than 2 or 3 months, and if they're still running, you can replicate it, because nobody's going to spend, no company, no creator is going to spend money on ads on something that isn't profitable. So look at their ads, make sure that they've been running for more than a month or 2 or 3, and then just replicate it, because that's how you know your ads are going to be profitable. You're going to have a high ROI because it's a built and proven system to work. So you don't need to make it super complicated. Keep it simple, keep it cool. Now listen, I know that I just give you a bunch of information and you may be a bit overwhelmed and you don't really know what to do moving forward. If that is the case and you're a digital product creator or an educational creator, then book a one-on-one call with me and I'm more than happy to guide you every single step of the way to help you make $6,000 or more passively with an automated digital product business. I've been in this space for the past few years and I've made most of the mistakes that all creators make in this business, and I went from literally doing all those mistakes and barely making any sales and being in debt to literally making over $6,000 passively. So this is not counting the active income. So if you are a digital product creator or you are an educational creator and you're struggling to make sales, you're struggling to get to that next level in your business, then book a one-on-one call with me and I'm more than happy to help you out every single step of the way, to the point where if you ever have an emergency, I'm more than happy to do a certain task for you so we can keep the momentum of the business growing. Damn, my landing got kind of crazy. So if you actually are committed to taking your business to the next level and make over 6K per month passively, then book a one-on-one call with me and I'm more than happy to help you out every single step of the way and make you a lot of money ASAP. That being said, talk soon.